Hi there, this is Marlene Dinarius here from the Latinum Institute, and in this video this is the first video, I'm going to be introducing you to the idea of music as a language. Now, music was taught as a language for well over 1,000 years, probably longer than that. The way music was taught was through syllables, sung syllables, and the connection between singing and playing was very, very strong. Only got broken really in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and then the system that had been used for over 1,000 years was abandoned, and there are various reasons for that. And music was no longer taught as a language. The basic system was this. It gets quite complicated. In the beginning it appears to be complicated, but I'm just going to dive in to the beginning, and we're going to approach it on its own terms. I'm not going to compare this with other methods of music, and we're going to just study it on its own terms. So the first scale was as such, do, although it was ut in the beginning, so we go ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, ut. And as you may notice, there are 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is how music was composed and put together and understood, through units of 1, 6. The 8-note scale was very useful for playing keyboard and for learning thorough bass and making chords, but for music, as sung music and played music, composed music, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you may ask, well, what about the other notes? We'll get there. This is called the natural hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now the key thing is that when you play, you have to sing, and all playing should be accompanied by singing, no matter what you're playing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. If you can't sing, then speak the syllables. It doesn't really matter if they're sung or not sung. What's important is the connection between the music and the syllable. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And we know that the apprentices, the young students who first started learning this method in the academies in Naples in the 1700s, for the first year or so, did not sing. They just said the syllables. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now, where this gets more interesting is that this is the natural hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. There is a hard hexachord, durum in Latin, that begins on G. So this is C, D, E, F, G. So let's start on G. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now you may have noticed something very interesting here. Firstly, syllables repeat. Do, re, 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 re. Oh, re, there we are. It's a bit humid in here, so my harpsichord is playing up a little bit. It's been raining constantly all night. Do, re, mi, do, re, mi, mi, mi. But do, re, mi, do, re, mi, 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 mi. So we have mi in different places, and we'll see soon there's going to be a mi in another place. This is very important for understanding the connection between the way patterns work in music. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. La, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. 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 Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then there's another hexachord called the soft hexachord on F. So C, D, E, F. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So to recap, we have three hexachords. The natural hexachord, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Again, this is the natural. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Then we have the hard hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then we have the soft hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And I'll reiterate, it doesn't matter if you can't sing. If you can't sing, speak the syllables. But if you can sing, better. Right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And now I want to point out something very, very interesting. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. Let's go to the soft hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. Right, as you may have noticed, mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. These are all semitones. So mi, fa, mi, fa, mi, fa. So mi, fa is always going to be semitone. And the scale, we'll talk about scales later on. Scales are just transpositions of the hexachords. But before we can do that, we have to learn how to mutate or progress from one hexachord to the other. And there's some rules about how this happened, how we got beyond 6 notes. Because obviously we don't just play music using 6 notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Although it's surprising how much Baroque music and music before that is encompassed within one hexachord. Because this was a mental musical unit. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So in terms of music as a language, this is your basic alphabet, and these are your first words. The first words are the hexachord words. So the first word you need to learn is the hard hexachord word, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And the syllables of this word are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And this is called the natural hexachord. Did I say hard? Sorry, natural, naturalis in Latin. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So this is your first word, the natural hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then we have the next word, which is the hard hexachord, the one I said by mistake before. It starts on G. C, D, E, F, G. Starts on G. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. It has the same syllables as the other hexachord, but its notes are different. Its pitch is different. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. This is the hard or the durum hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And again, the natural hexachord, the naturalis. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now this singing and speaking the solfeggio, because this is called solfeggio, from sol, fa, right? Sol, fa, la, sol, fa, sol, fa, solfeggio. The students would do this for 3 years in the conservatories in Naples, simply doing solfeggio before they got to a musical instrument. And it takes time, just like learning a language takes time. It takes about 10 years to learn a language well. It took about 10 years to learn music this way as well. But the students that came out of these academies could sit down at the piano and they could, what we would now call improvise, they could speak music. They didn't just play from scores. They would often have a little theme. The music that would be in the piece of paper in front of them might just be 4 or 5 bars, but they would play for 2 hours, messing around with those bars, speaking music. But it only works if you are able to speak music. And so what the solfeggio method did was taught students how to speak music, and this is the base. So let's go back to the hexachords again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then that's the naturalis, the natural. The durum, or hard hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, and the molle, or mollis in Latin, molle in Italian, and soft in English. Hexachord starts on C, D, E, F. Starts on F. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So, natural. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Hard, or durum. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And soft. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And remember that mi, fa, and mi, fa. Mi, fa, 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 do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa. It's really humid today, and so the jacks on my spinet, this little spinet, are a little bit sticky. Do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa. I'm not sure what it was like to play one of these instruments living in Venice, for example, where the humidity was very high. I suppose they must have adjusted their spinets so they could cope with that. The spinets would have settled into the high humidity. But really, it's been raining all night, and the air is very damp. Do, re, mi, fa, 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 do, re, mi, fa. And then the soft hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, 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 do, re, mi, fa. Hard. Do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa. La, sol, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do. Fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, 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 fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So you need to learn these, and when I say learn them, I mean really, really learn them. They need to be as intuitive as the first words you would have learned in baby language. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And it's not knowing them intellectually, it's knowing them absolutely intuitively, without having to think about them for a briefest of brief seconds. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. 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 Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. La, sol, fa, mi, re, do. La, sol, fa, mi, re, do. La, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So those are the hexachords, the basic words of the language of solfeggio, as music was taught for, I don't know, well over 1,000 years. And this method only really died out when amateurs took over, and the learning of music in the professional academies, where the students were apprentices rather than paying students, died out. So whenever you play, you need to speak the syllables or sing them. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la.